If you've ever asked yourself whether sobriety would make your life better, whether quitting alcohol would improve your life in a million ways, I'm here to tell you, yes, it can, and yes, it will. I know that sobriety can sound really intimidating at first, but I'm here to tell you guys, when you make that decision to be sober and quit alcohol, your life does get better. Yes, it may take a little bit of time and you might not see that 180 that you're looking for right away, but it is inevitable and it will happen. And I'm here to tell you guys just how much better my life has gotten since I've quit alcohol. Hi, guys. My name is Ladette, and I've been sober for almost a year and a half. And y'all, it has hands down been the best decision I have ever made. My life has just completely transformed. I'm so much happier. I'm way more at peace with myself. I'm a lot more confident, and it's just been worth it. I genuinely believe that a lot of the things I've manifested into my life this past year would not have come if I was still drinking alcohol. So if you're sober curious or you're just starting your alcohol-free journey, today's video is going to be for you. Today I'm sharing 10 ways sobriety helped me manifest a better life. And I hope that it reminds you that this path gets so good once you start walking it. Okay, so let's jump straight in. I'm not really going in any particular order, but I will say some of the later things that I'm going to share are probably some of the best and most favorite things that I have to say about how my life has gotten better. Number one, my sobriety journey has helped me improve my life. Straight up, y'all, because I don't spend money like I used to. When I was a drinker, oh my God. It wasn't even that I was just spending money on alcohol. It was everything that kind of comes with it, especially when I would go bar hopping with my friends, easily dropping $10 on a drink. And then if we would get shots, easily dropping $7, $8 on shots. And a lot of the times we would be lifting because we would try to be responsible, right? So spending money on lifts, getting to downtown, spending money on food, spending money on my lift back home, spending money on Uber Eats, because then, you drink and then it's like, I'm hungry and I don't want to eat the food that I have in the fridge. And so spending so much money on alcohol when I was a drinker, and when I stopped, I was really able to tell. I could see my finances improving. Suddenly it felt like I had more money in my pocket, and who doesn't want a little bit of extra money? Let's be honest. Sobriety definitely made me a lot more intentional with where I was putting my money. And something that I thought was really cool, at least in the beginning, was using a tracker. So I used the I Am Sober app, but I know there's a million other apps that you can use. But you go in and in your settings, you put in actually how much you drink, how often, how much you spend every single week on alcohol. And when you stop drinking alcohol, it's really cool to use these type of trackers because it actually puts a number to how much you're saving because you're not spending that money on alcohol anymore. And so I just thought that was kind of an incentive to keep going because it was nice to see wow, I'm actually saving a lot of money right now. This is pretty cool. The second way that sobriety has helped me manifest a better life is that it helped me pay off my credit card debt and I bought a house. And I know that kind of goes into the first thing I mentioned with not spending as much money, but I wanted to actually put these 2 points separate because I felt like not only did it allow me to save my money, it actually helped me pay off debt and buy a house. If I was still a drinker, I can tell you for certain, I would not have paid off my credit card debt. Maybe I would have paid off some of it, but the fact that I had all this extra money that I was no longer spending on alcohol really allowed me to prioritize, where can I put this? Where can I actually help myself right now? Because I do have a little bit of this extra money. And being able to pay it off towards a principal on my credit cards, I could visibly see every single month that my balance was going down and down. And eventually I paid off all my credit card debt. And I will say that I do attribute a big part of this to the fact that my parents did let me move back home. But part of the reason why I moved back home is because I knew that being around other people was going to force me to be sober. And I also knew that I wanted to take advantage of being able to pay things off. I felt like once I quit drinking alcohol, it helped me kind of have this bigger picture and this vision for my life of what I wanted to happen, where I wanted to go. And for me, it was really important to put my money into something that I felt like was going to benefit me. And so I ended up buying a house. I was in a good position to buy it. I felt like it was in my budget. And also because I wasn't spending so much money on alcohol, it freed up the amount I could put towards my mortgage. And so hands down, one of the best decisions that I've made because I feel like being in this home and knowing that I own it feels good. I love that I have a second room for people if they ever want to stay with me, like friends or family who are visiting. And I also know that one day if I decide to sell it, the money that I've put into it would come back to me. So I'm happy with my decision. And so being sober has definitely improved my finances, but it's also gave me this leverage to pay off my credit card debt and buy this house. The third thing that sobriety has done for me is it's helped me improve my health, you guys. Like, I have always been in the gym. I've always been very active. I care about taking care of my body. And it was this contradicting thing for me because even when I was a drinker, there was that part of me that still wanted to show up for myself in the gym. But I felt like it was counterintuitive and it'd be counterproductive because then I would just drink on the weekends. I would drink even on weekdays after work. Like I was like working out so that I could drink. And then I was like no progress at all. And I felt like as soon as I stopped drinking, I actually felt so much healthier. I felt like my gains in the gym were better. My muscle recovery was better. All that stuff, everything just honestly got so much better. And I don't think anyone has to, it's like we all know this, right? That like alcohol is generally not good for your health. And so by quitting, I don't think it's rocket science to assume that your health will improve. It will. And it has been so nice to just feel like I have more energy, to feel more present when I'm around my family and my loved ones. And even just knowing that my liver is in better condition. I never knew what my liver looked like. I never like went and got, how do you even know what your liver looks like? I never went and actually asked like my doctor, hey, what is the condition of my liver? But I just know that my liver is in much better condition than it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago when I was drinking. And it makes me feel good that I'm doing right by my body now. The fourth way that being sober helped me improve my life is I just became so much more productive. When I was drinking on the weekends, I would spend the whole day either hungover, wasting time, just laying in bed, not doing the things I said I wanted to do. And even if I did, it wasn't like I was fully showing up. Because there were weekends where, boom, I was in the gym, I did my workout, came home, meal prepped. But I felt like you just know when you're half-assing the things that you're doing. And that's not even me being hard on myself. Like, I was not really showing up. And if I did, it was just me half-assing everything. And I felt like once I stopped drinking alcohol, I actually was present. I am present on the weekends when I am recording content, when I am going to the gym, when I am cooking in the kitchen. Whatever it is that I'm doing, it's just nice because I'm not hungover and I'm just myself and it feels good. I'm not weighed down or held back by the effects of alcohol. It gave me so much more time for my passions, my hobbies, my interests. It's crazy, you guys, because sometimes I feel a little bored and not the type of boredom where it's like, what do I do with myself? Because there is always something to do, but more just in the sense of like, I've done everything. I'll literally sit there and be like, okay, I already recorded, already edited, already posted, already went to the gym, already cleaned, already cooked, already spent time with family, already went for a walk, already watched a movie. And it's like, now what? What else do I do with my time? I never had that when I was drinking. When I was drinking, it was always like a rush against time. It's like I was chasing time. I was fighting time. I never seemed to have enough of it. And so that has been awesome. The fifth way my life has improved is that overall, I just became so much more happier when I quit drinking alcohol. I just felt like it removed guilt, unnecessary guilt from being hungover. I mean, when I was drinking, I would always feel bad. The next day, there was not a day where I went out with friends or I had a drink that the next day I was just like chilling, like as if it was normal. There was a time when it used to be that way, early college, I would even say high school. I know some places at that age you can't drink, but I'm not going to go too deep into that, okay? There was a time where drinking was innocent for me, and there was a time where it simply was no longer innocent, and I would feel bad. And for me, that was a problem. It's like, why am I going to drink and then feel bad and then do it all over again? I hated that. I hated feeling regretful of things that I said or did. I hated feeling ashamed of myself. And once I stopped drinking alcohol, there was no reason to feel shame or guilt. Yeah, there were instances where I would have flashbacks of the past and maybe something I said to someone, maybe a risky text message I sent. And yeah, there would be those moments of where I'd have like a little bit of that embarrassment. But being sober and being present in those moments gives you an opportunity to work through that shame or guilt or whatever you're feeling. And then it's like you can forgive yourself and then that becomes a time of the past. But I didn't have opportunities like that when I was drinking. I had opportunities like that to work through that shame and guilt in a productive way when I was sober. So anyway, my life has just gotten so much better because there's just not that unnecessary negative feelings that come with drinking alcohol. And now I can just be confident in myself and not feel bad about any decisions that I'm making because 10 out of 10, I've never regretted being sober. I've never felt bad about it. I've never felt like it's a mistake. I'm confident in my decision to be sober, and every day I know that my life gets better and better because of it. The next thing that I want to share is kind of an interesting improvement, I want to say, but being sober improved my life because it allowed me to be crystal clear on who I wanted in my circle. Before, I don't want to say that I ever necessarily had friends that I felt like weren't good for me or were quote unquote bad, but I definitely had friendships that I outgrew. And I felt like those friendships, they weren't serving me anymore. I don't want to say that they were bad or they were hurting me, because in the same way that those people were contributing to the friendship, I was, right? I was also an enabler in my friendships. I was also the one that was always like, let's party, let's drink, let's go out, let's whatever. I was also that friend. So for me, it doesn't feel good to say that I cut out people out of my life who were like bad friends, because I was also that friend in that same regard. But what I felt like happened when I got sober is I just got crystal clear on what type of friendships do I want? What type of friend do I want to be? How do I want to show up, and how is it that I want the people in my life to show up for me? Because this is a mutual energy exchange. And I got to just be really picky about who I wanted in my life. There were some friends that we outgrew each other. The friendship just kind of naturally fizzled out when there was no longer that common thing keeping the friendship inact. But yeah, I felt like being sober allowed me to really focus on the friendships I did had where they didn't care for drinking or where they didn't care that I was sober. Honestly, the main thing that I really wanted for my friendships were to be able to do things that didn't revolve drinking all the time. And I wanted people in my life who were going to accept me for who I was. And so that kind of naturally happened. And that has just been a nice improvement for me to feel accepted by the people I care about. And to be able to have these experiences with my friends where we don't always have to drink. Some of my friends still do, don't get me wrong. If we're out, they might get a drink. Or if we do a girls' night in, they might bring a bottle. I don't mind that. But I do love that the friends that I do have, we can go hiking. We can also go and do a spa day, or we can go and do hot yoga, or we can go do Pilates. We can do things that are fun and healthy that don't necessarily surround alcohol. And I've just loved that because it's proven to me I can still live my life and have fun and have these experiences that don't involve drinking. The next thing that has happened that I really am the universe did its thing for me. It really did, but I know it's because I also did the work. But my life has gotten so much better since quitting alcohol, in the sense that I was able to manifest someone into my life who does not drink. That just makes me so happy. Okay, I didn't care about being with someone who was also sober. That was not a criteria for me. Even though I knew that I no longer wanted to drink, I wasn't out here saying, oh, my partner can't be a drinker. I just wanted to manifest someone into my life who didn't care about drinking. Similar to the whole thing with my friendships. I wanted to be with someone who we could go on dates and it doesn't have to revolve around drinking. We could take trips and they don't have to be drunk the whole time. We can have nights in where we're making cute mocktails maybe, or even just having a sparkling water. I don't know. I just wanted someone who didn't care about alcohol. And as a result of me working on myself, as a result of me saying no to alcohol, as a result of me just choosing to love myself, I genuinely believe that single-handedly is what allowed me to manifest someone who does not care about alcohol, who does not drink alcohol. My partner hasn't drank longer than I have. I stopped drinking almost a year and a half ago. It'll be a year and a half the end of December. My partner stopped drinking 2 years ago. And so it's just nice to feel wow, cool. I'm with someone who just doesn't care about alcohol. I love that for me. The next thing that has happened as a result of being sober is just my confidence, you guys. My confidence has grown so much in myself, in how I show up, in the way that I just hold myself down, in how I talk to other people, how I approach other people. And that to me has been invaluable. Just feeling like I can be myself. Because there was a time where I felt like I couldn't go to a certain event, whether it was a wedding or a party or even a first date, without alcohol. I would literally be taking shots. I can remember going on first dates, pre-gaming hardcore at home before going and meeting that person. And now it's I don't need no shots to go and meet anybody. I don't need to drink to feel comfortable, to let loose, to feel like I can be sociable. I just know that I can. I know that I can show up as myself wherever I go, and that's enough. That's always enough. The ninth thing that has happened as a result of quitting alcohol is I've just become a better person. I felt like when I was a drinker, it enabled me to be complacent. It enabled me to not really have goals. It allowed me to disappoint myself. I don't know what other better way to explain that. It's I would sit there and have a goal, or I would tell myself I was going to do something. And then if I didn't do it, I would just be oh, well, I guess I kind of expected that of myself. And I'm not okay with that. When I think about that now, I'm really not okay with that. And I don't think I ever fully was, but alcohol was an excuse that I felt like I could use every single time. Like, oh, well, I'm hungover, so I can't record this video. Or, well, I feel sick because I drank all last night and I ate all this crap. So, like, I don't really have the energy to go to the gym. I hated that. And it almost was a good excuse because it's like, well, yeah, if you feel sick, how are you going to go and do the things you want to do? How are you going to be productive? But then it's like, but you made yourself sick. In those moments that I chose to drink, I made myself sick. It wasn't because I just happened to get a cold because someone gave it to me, which is innocent. I was the one causing the issues in my own life, and I was the one allowing myself to not be accountable and to not show up as my best self. And so quitting has just allowed me to be just a better person in every way around. I don't say things that I regret anymore. I don't do things that I'm ashamed of. I don't say mean things to people. You know, sometimes when you're drunk and you might say something that you didn't really mean and it's like something mean or whatever. I just don't do any of those things anymore. And it feels really nice to just feel like I'm a better person because of it. And so the last thing that I want to share, by no means is it just, these 10 things. There's so many other things. But for today's video, the last thing I'm going to share with you guys is my life improved so much when I quit drinking alcohol, and just in the sense of like my energy. When I was a drinker, I felt like I had low energy. I was negative. It felt like there was this dark cloud around me all the time. My energetic field just felt very low, okay? It's like, I think we all know that when we feel guilty, shameful, sad, upset, those are all low vibes. And when you're constantly in that state, you bring more things into your life of that caliber. I felt like I was just so many areas of my life. I was unhappy. My finances were horrible. I was not meeting like the best people in terms of like dating, the type of like men I was attracting into my life. There were just so many like layers and elements of my life that were not going good. And that's not even being a negative person. That was like seeing it for what it was. Like, here's alcohol, this one single thing in my life that I can control. But because I'm not choosing to address it, here are all the things and parts of my life that it's affecting. And so once I quit drinking alcohol, in general, my energy and everything that I was just bringing into my life, people, career, friendships, love, whatever, all of that improved in every single way possible. I felt like I started being happier. I was more confident in myself. I was just more at peace. And it's no surprise, right? Like when you're feeling those positive emotions, all these other things in your life start to improve. I paid off all my credit card debt. I bought a house. I attracted this person into my life who doesn't drink alcohol. I got a raise at my job. Like, damn, life has just gotten so much better. So those are the 10 things that I have for you guys of how my life got better after I quit drinking alcohol. Let me know down in the comments if there's one thing that really stands out to you or one thing that gets you really excited about quitting alcohol. Like I said, guys, I know that it can be really scary to think about putting alcohol behind you, but it's so worth it. If I could take a look into the future a year and a half ago and see everything I was able to create, I would have jumped fully in knowing, yes, there are going to be some challenges. There's going to be some up and downs. I would have jumped fully in just being able to take a sneak peek at what life was going to look like. So I promise you it does get better and it really is worth it. If today's video resonated, don't forget to give it a like and share it with a friend and subscribe for more sober content. Love you guys. Bye.